Welcome. We're here to talk some liposuction, fat transfer, how to get rid of those bellies, how to create that hourglass figure. Who's ready? Who's ready to change? That's who we want to talk to today. Those of you who've been thinking about doing things, we've made it super easy to get your pricing. Go to our website, myshapelipo.com. You can click on a quick quote, enter some basic information, and get your quote immediately. Then when you're serious, ready to move forward, next step is your formal consultation. You'll meet with myself or Kale directly, and we'll review your pictures, develop a plan, and get you started on the path to the new you.
Yeah, we're interested in those that are absolutely ready to change and ready to go. We're also interested in those that are, getting the seed planted. It was interesting. A couple of weeks ago, we did a lady that, I happened to work with her, in the ER setting years ago. And when I worked with her, it kind of planted her seed. And then finally, 3 years later, 2 or 3 years later, she finally shows up and, we do the front of her abdomen, and she had been saving, and she was just super excited and did really, really well. So even though you guys might not be ready to go, hopefully it plants a seed and it gets you motivated to make you a better you.
Or, also we like to talk about paying it forward. So once you have the knowledge that this stuff is even possible, people that that struggle with these issues, that have that square shape and they're looking to get that hourglass figure, I'm sure you have friends or family, somebody that's interested in this type of stuff. And now that you have the knowledge and know that this is possible, because most people don't believe it's possible.
So that's interesting, because I was driving home from work. I had a weekend shift just the other day at the ER, because I do the ER part-time just to make sure I keep my medical skills fresh. And I was going to tell you, one of our previous patients, Raina Reyes. So Raina actually gave me a call, and we were discussing, hey, how's everything going, blah, blah, blah. She goes, I went into my doctor, and he looked at my belly, and he was so surprised. He was like, oh my gosh, there is no way that I would expect that you would have gotten those results without a tummy tuck.
Right.
And she wanted to point that out and just say thank you. Anyway, so
no, it's
shout
amazing.
out to Raina.
It's amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's without seeing these results, and not only do we get results like this, but this is something that we get routinely. It's not just once, not just twice. Hundreds of people are getting this, and on a weekly basis, we have new people that are popping onto our private Facebook group. So if you haven't joined the private Facebook group, it's a great opportunity to actually connect with these individuals. You can see these pictures. These are all posted publicly by them. They're real pictures, real people.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is the Julia Roberts lookalike, and I do remember we did do a 360 on her, and holy smokes, she looks phenomenal. She posted a bunch of pictures in our group where she's all dressed up and she's going out with her husband somewhere. She's in a blue dress, and she made the comment like she hasn't looked like this ever. She was always just kind of a little heavier, and yeah, sometimes our genetics just don't play in our favor, and we can change that. We can totally intervene.
Hey, all of you who are watching right now, if I can get a comment out there, where you're from, where you watching from, if you could just post that really quick so we can kind of get an idea of where our following is coming from at this point. Also, what are you interested in? Are you looking for a 360 lipo? Or are you looking for arms, upper body, lower body, chin? If you didn't know, we can take care of that double chin, and it's gone in one afternoon. It's amazing. Those of you who've been struggling with that double chin, where you hide from those pictures, you don't want to turn sideways, you're embarrassed to see old friends because you look different now, we can solve that problem in one afternoon. It's so easy.
What's up, Jazzy Keela Embry? She's calling from somewhere or joined in from somewhere. I see Karina, Jesus Mendez, Isa Martinez, David Holly. David, thanks for jumping in. Hopefully it's you and not your wife, because we do a lot of guys too. A lot of guys treatment. Sharwanda Davis, thanks for joining in. I don't know what that was. Invite. No, we don't want to invite her to the camera. Viviana Garcia, she was one of our previous patients, I believe. Hope she's doing well. Danielle Wednesday says, "Hi guys, 1 month till I'm in your hands, coming from Cali.
Nice.
What part of Cali?"
Danielle.
So this is Dom Estudia Dominique. So she just was the one I was referring to. Dom and I worked together for a while in Arizona in an ER, and she committed a couple of years ago, and we got it done, and she's doing great. I just got a picture from her.
This just blows me away every time I see this. And the funny thing is this individual came into our office with one of our other patients. She just happened to be along with her, and she was hiding in this big baggy sweatshirt, and you couldn't even tell that she had gotten these kind of results because she still had that mindset of hiding. And we decided to call her back to get some pictures. Lo and behold, we find out she had this huge, dramatic, unbelievable change. But the thing that really blew me away was just that the important thing is you have to enjoy your body.
Enjoy the results.
It's not good enough just to get these results. If you don't love yourself, then what's the point in doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was surprised too that she was wearing a big, big sweater. But maybe that was just because like that was her routine. That was what she felt comfortable in. But now that she looks like this, man, go show that off, man. We've got a picture of a couple of previous clients that kind of got hooked up through the group. One was a lymphatic masseuse. One was another client, and started going to one of the lymphatic masseuses. Just they got hooked up somehow. Anyway, they went out on the town and took a couple of pictures and sent them to me and said, "Hey, look at this." So it's kind of a cool little idea, this whole like support group where you can get in, you can see these pictures in real time, or not in real time, but you can see these are their actual pictures and you can communicate with them in real time and get a real good take on what the whole process is like.
It's like Lipo sisters or sorority. The group is an opportunity for individuals who are interested in the procedure to actually connect with these girls who have had the procedure from My Shape Lipo. So it's, I think, 1,000 times better than any testimonial you could read anywhere, because this is an opportunity to actually connect, through private messaging. And some of these individuals would even communicate through the phone.
Right, and there's absolutely no way that we can control what photos they post up on here. These are all their photos, right? I mean, so when you go to somebody else's clinic, they're going to post the best pictures that they have, and they're going to Photoshop them, they're going to edit them, and we just leave it to our patients. Let our work just, in whatever light they believe that they look good in, they're going to take those and they're going to, post them on the group, and then you guys have access to them.
Yeah. Occasionally you'll see our pictures where they're, better lighting, white background, and perfect positioning.
Of course.
But when they take their own pictures, it's a different ballgame.
But they're never photoshopped.
No.
We never we just don't have time to Photoshop our pictures. We got too much
And it's
stuff
real.
going on.
The thing that you'll notice with this picture here is that, in the after photo, she is covered up. But the truth is most of these women, you're not doing this to get into a bikini. It's to look better and feel better in your clothes. That's the primary goal. So although it might not be perfection underneath, there might be some, it's potential with asymmetry, or you may have stretch marks and skin issues. But if we can get you to a point where you look like this under your clothes, it's something that's a huge dramatic change, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's something that nobody else can get you to. I guarantee it, right? I mean, not to say that we can't take the smaller body habitus and make those look amazing in a bikini. We can do that too. However, nobody is giving appropriate treatment to ladies that have these particular issues. They're saying, no, we can't do it. Your belly's too big. You need to lose weight. You need a tummy tuck. And in reality, you don't need a tummy tuck.
Yeah, no tummy tucks.
Yeah, so, yeah, listen, we work on everybody, and we're really good at what we do. So, you wanna see some results? Jump on the Facebook group and ask some people. Show me your photos. Go through all of those photos and see what body type you look like and what we could do for you.
What's up, Mimi from Tennessee? Ciamara.
Oh, Danielle's from Sacramento. Daniela's from Sacramento.
Lovely.
All right.
Bambi, what's up? Sunshine, what's up, Billion? Jane MX. Oh, there's a Spanish.
Okay, Jane MX. Pregunta. Tati es la influencer dice que estás contenta y la verdad su piel tiene muchos hoyos y yo quiero hacer el procedimiento con ustedes, pero ahora ya me pone a pensar. Bueno, Jane, conéctate con las mujeres del grupo, ¿ok? Lo que pasa es, a veces, yo he visto algunos de sus videos y ella está un poco emocional. Bueno, si quieres la verdad, habla con las chicas del grupo. Ellas le pueden contestar y hablen, charlar en cuánto serían sus expectaciones y los resultados, ¿ok? So she just said, Tati's an influencer. She was like really, really excited about doing it, but now she has to think twice because Tati says there's a bunch of holes in her skin. And I just said, hey, jump onto the group, talk to the group directly, talk to some of the other girls and see what their take is on it.
Right. So Erica Flores says, when do you recommend we can stop wearing the foam with the fajas? So, that's going to be an individual situation, and you got to think of this as the foam as a tool, and it's used in conjunction with the faja or the compression garment, and the foam is meant to give you smoother results. So if you don't use the foam, and with the compression garment alone you're getting irregularities from the garments, then the use of the foam is a tool to get you smoother results. And when you don't have the need for that tool, you no longer have to use it. Some people don't even have to use the foam.
So Erica, I just to answer your question, when I did the procedure, I did the front of the abdomen too. I wore the foam consistently for about 2 weeks, and then on that 3rd week I kind of just changed it to just wearing it at night. So I don't know, and it did well for me. So yeah. I don't know what it is for you.
I didn't use the foam at all.
Okay.
And everybody's got it different, right? So
yeah, and when I worked on my wife, my wife, like a day or two after, she looks at me, she goes, I'm reading online on all these plastics guys' websites, and they're saying you don't have to have the foam at all. You don't even need any compression at all. And I said, you know what? I can't speak to that. What I can speak to is what's worked well for me.
Yeah. And
this is what we do.
Yeah. That's why I try and take very open suggestions with this, because there's no one right answer for anyone. It's going to be different. You have to understand your own body, and you might need something different than someone else. So when we give guidelines, you got to take it with a grain of salt, because that might not be the same for you.
Sure. Look at this revision right here. Super cool, huh? Liposuction like 15 years prior. She put on some weight. Life stressors, whatever, a little older, and when I say a little older, it's all in context, right? I mean, she's 52, she looks amazing already, but look how we were able to enhance this. Well,
and no tummy tuck.
No tummy tuck, that's the biggest thing, okay? And then when you see, I wish we could pull up her other photo that she sent. Oh, there it is. Boom, she likes to work out too, so she turned out great. So if your body allows us, we can do whatever your body allows us, right? So
I keep saying that that layer of fat that you have on you, it's covering up what's already there, and many women already have this. This is the natural structure and natural anatomy of a female body, so it's there already, and it's our job just to take out the fat in a way to make it so you can see it.
Enhance it to make you look feminine,
right?
So your clothes fit better. I tell everybody, this is, the expensive part is not doing the procedure. It's all of the clothes that you have to buy afterwards, because your previous clothes are not going to fit, and you're going to have to buy a whole new wardrobe. So, yeah, but I will tell you this, it is super intoxicating whenever you get around people that you haven't seen for a while, even people you have seen, but maybe haven't seen them for a couple of weeks. They look at you and they kind of like size you up and say, did you do something? Wow, you look amazing. And that makes you feel good, and that boosts your confidence, and then you're able to go on and go do a lot of cool stuff because of that confidence.
What's up, Danielle from Sacramento?
And then not only do we do liposuction, we also do what? Fat transfer. So we can take your fat, re-inject it into another part of the body, and we can enhance the curves. And so she goes from kind of a rectangle look on this picture in the black to, oh my gosh, looks like a bottle of Coca-Cola, right?
I like to call that the SpongeBob SquarePants.
Mm-hmm. Right here. And it's beach season, so I've got a chance to get out. I don't know if you guys have seen my tan recently, but I've been working on it. You're gonna get a lot of skin damage, probably a lot of skin cancer in the future. But my wife and I, we like to sit and we like to look at bodies. right? And yeah, man, I don't know. Some girls just have this really, really square backside.
You know, the interesting thing is this girl would never be considered fat either.
No, she
and,
wouldn't.
and so she would think she would feel about herself a certain way and feel like less feminine perhaps because she doesn't have this shape, this hourglass figure, but yet she's not fat. So this is not just for, you know, people that have, you know, it's for anybody really that has any issue, because the smaller individuals that just a small little change makes a huge dramatic difference.
Absolutely. How about Mary Humana? Yo quiero hacerme algo. ¿Dónde están ubicados? Bueno, she's asking where we're at. Estamos ubicados en Las Vegas, Nevada. Es bien fácil de volar acá y hay muchos hoteles donde se puede quedarse por algunos días. Tenemos una relación con una mujer, se llama Lexi. Ella se hace un recovery house. Ella se puede manejarte a la cirugía y los citas que tienes. Es bien fácil, ¿ok? Entonces, cuando estés listo, que nos vaya a nuestra página de web. Se puede sacar un presupuesto rápido según sus datos, su altura y también el tamaño y donde quieres tener el trabajo. Y cuando estás listo para fijar una cita, se hace una cita con una consulta profesional con nosotros y Trevor y yo vamos a hablar contigo mejor en español yo. Entonces podemos empezar a ponerte en el camino de cambiar su vida.
Danielle's at Quest getting her labs right now. That's good.
All
So
right,
I wanted to say about this picture here, which was actually really interesting. A story that goes along with it is this individual calls us and was, you know, complaining to our staff how she didn't notice any difference in her butt and she was so unhappy with the results and just disappointed and depressed. And so we asked, okay, please just send us some pictures so we can see what you're talking about and get an understanding. She sent us this picture, and so we pulled up her before pictures and we made a before and after picture and sent it back to her, and she was like blown away. And you gotta start wondering, you know, like what's going through people's heads and how they see themselves. And you know, in psychology they throw the term around the body dysmorphia, and so where you see yourself differently than what you really are. And you know, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so it was funny because I was, you know, it was after hours, and Trevor actually, obviously we communicate all the time, and you know, he sends me this picture, and you know, my response back to that was like, yeah, no change at all, with a big smiley face and LOL, right? Because this is super pronounced. I mean, just the size. Okay, so maybe she came in and she was thinking to herself, oh, listen, I want a Kim Kardashian butt. Maybe that's what her thought process was. And oftentimes when people come in or we have that discourse over the phone, I try and prepare them. I said, listen, you know, we can do whatever your body allows us to do. Okay, this is what your body allowed us to do. We took out fat from the midsection, which is really, really small now. We injected it into the butt, and you can see how it's an upside down heart, and it looks amazing. And so oftentimes, you know, until people get side-by-side photos, and then they can really compare, you know, sometimes their perception of how they are or how they look, you know, I don't know. It's a little tough, right?
And given that story, right, where she had this perception that things were so terrible until she saw the before and after photo of herself and realized, you know, because once you see it, you have to realize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but that just kind of throws question to any review from any doctor, for that matter, of a patient that leaves a review, and you know, you got to wonder if it's real or if it's just a perceived.
Yeah, I think most of us understand that anytime somebody leaves a review, it's usually in some sort of negative connotation because, you know, they felt a certain way. The people that are super happy very rarely leave reviews, and oftentimes we ask them, hey, listen, if your experience was great, jump on, talk about it in the group. You know, if you can, jump on Google. We have one patient that came out from New York that found Trevor after having gone to a Ivy League educated plastic surgeon, had 0 results or minimal results, and she wasn't happy. She came back for her second procedure the other day. I got a chance to sit down and talk to her, do some Botox on her, and man, she understands how this whole process goes, and so I was super impressed. She jumped on there, on the Facebook group and left a very, very nice note to me, to the staff of My Shape, and then she also jumped on Google and wrote some kind things. So thank you for that, Julie. But yeah, listen, it is rough. It is rough. This is a process, and I tell everybody when you're going through the healing process, there's going to be days you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to be like, that doesn't look right. You just have to trust the process. You have to trust how it's going. You got to do your part. You got to wear your compression garment. You got to hydrate. You got to get proper nutrition. You got to walk. I mean, you got to do all of the things to make sure that your results are maximized. And if you need to go to a lymphatic masseuse, go to a lymphatic masseuse. Have her help you get that inflammatory response under control. But I guarantee you are not going to walk out of our location and think, oh my gosh, did they take out fat? That's never going to cross your mind.
You'll know with 1,000% certainty. You'll get to see it, feel it, touch it.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and you're going to have amazing results, I guarantee it. So,
yeah, it's you have to just be realistic with your expectations and realize that it happens fast, but it also happens slow. So your body changes, but in an hourly basis, it's not going to change. It changes a daily, weekly, monthly. So if you're observing and expecting things to change overnight, then you're going to be disappointed. You have to just be confident in the process that eventually you'll get to where you want to be.
So, and I also have to throw in there too, like most of these photos are like days, like a couple of days after the surgery to like 6 months, because after 6 months, people get kind of back to their own routine, and then they kind of get out of the habit of sending like post-op photos. And so most of these pictures are still in the healing phase. Okay. So yeah, there are some irregularities still. I guarantee those are going to like even out. So yeah, just so you know, everybody is like hyper excited and they stay connected with us for about the first 3 months, 6 months, and then after that, unless they're people like, for some reason, Trevor's made a very big impression on a couple of people, and they just continue to stick around. And so, and that speaks volumes to his persona and what he's done for them and how he's changed their lives. So yeah, keep in mind that these are all like 6 months.
Yeah, this is
not all of them.
Cool picture here. It kind of shows progression, where you can see, we get a significant amount of fat out when you leave our office. You're significantly smaller right away. Now, immediately when you leave our office, we put compression garments on, but you're going to start swelling up. And as you swell up, it's going to swell into the space that we just created. So you can see in this after photo, initially, right after the procedure, she's almost just as big as she was before the procedure. So sometimes people get frustrated and they're confused and they're like, the fat came back.
Right.
Well, hey, what's up, Susie?
So the fat does not come back
fat
that
does
quick.
not come
it
back.
does not. It's the inflammatory process that comes back. Your body's whole mentation or whole design is we've got to send a bunch of proteins, complement, electrolytes, everything down there, white blood cells, red blood cells, to fix what happened. And so you get this huge inflammatory response. And if you're not working it out and getting that fluid out of there, it's going to harden up. Okay, it's kind of like when you roll your ankle, right? You roll your ankle, it swells up really, really big, and it gets hard. Same idea. Okay.
Now, the first stage in the healing process, your body's natural thing is you're going to swell up, and the body will fill the space with fluid. And now that fluid, over the next few days, it starts to solidify and gets hard. So, when I had the procedure, I don't know about you, how you would describe it, but I described it like I had plate armor, like this, like maybe like an inch thick of firm tissue.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the same thought process, like, oh, what if this is the fat coming, the fat's there, and
Right.
it was kind of disappointing, but obviously I've been through it and I've seen lots of other people go through the process, so I know that that's not the case anymore. But you have to expect that, and I think if you expect that, then it allows your mind to get past it and realize it's a temporary thing. It's impermanent.
Absolutely. So is this one's Facebook, right?
Yes, this one's Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, on Facebook, it looks like Susie's on here with us. She's probably on the other one too, or one of the other girls. And Susie works with us at the office, and she's super amazing. And she's reaching out and answering some questions. So shout out to Susie. Thanks for doing that. Very pleasant, great individual, human being. So We have a pretty good staff in shape. I mean, not pretty good. We have an amazing
Excellent.
staff. Yeah.
Amazing.
So we want you to have an experience, and so we've kind of handpicked, who gets to work there and who doesn't. And if you fit into our morals and our standards and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve with everybody, then it's going to be an amazing experience. Okay.
Danielle asked how much time do we recommend in between procedures, and I see Susie answered at least 2 months. What's your thoughts on that, Kale?
A lot of it depends on the location, right? Because if you get your a 360, you don't have to wait 2 months to come back and get a chin or maybe even the arms. You might can wait like a month or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to give your body a good chance to recuperate. Okay. When it comes to like doing the front of the abdomen, you and I, we have kind of differing opinions on this, but it's just a time frame. I like your body to kind of like settle down if we're going to work on the front of the abdomen, and then after a couple of months you can come back and do love handles, hips, and lower back. You're a little more aggressive in your approach, and you're closer to that month period. But I mean, it's about the same, right? It's going to work out.
The debate would be when you treat one area, you're going to have inflammatory process and swelling. That firm, hard tissue is going to be there in the area that we treated. And then if you treat a surrounding area, an adjacent area, where it butts up, so if you treat the front of the area, abdomen, and come back and do the waistline, then you're going to be running up against that hard, firm tissue. And, the belief would be that we possibly get lesser results, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
No.
your thought?
I just want to make sure that their body is absolutely hit a homeostatic state, right? Because when we're doing big abdomens, man, we are doing some very aggressive work, and your body is changing very rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
There's less of the hormones that are produced by all of the fat. You've got this whole inflammatory process that is still kind of at high volume, and so I don't know. This is all it's all theory. It really is, because nobody has ever done any big studies on this, but.
They're guidelines, right? We create these guidelines, and we just we live by the guidelines until something changes, until we realize, hey, this is wrong, and so we are open to change, because sometimes we follow these rules just because this is what we were told to do, and then one day you realize that it's a stupid rule, and why are we following it? So
and we can improve it, right?
Right.
I mean, there was a time in our office where the office girls were like, why does it seem like everything is changing so rapidly? And it wasn't. It was just an evolutionary process to make sure that we provide the ultimate care and make sure that everything's safe. That's what we strive for. Okay. Listen, Trevor can attest to this. We never want somebody to have a bad outcome ever. Okay. So we'd rather be very cautious and make sure that you're an appropriate candidate, make sure that all of the thing is done, in an appropriate manner, so that you can wake up the next morning, even wake up 6 months later, a year later, and enjoy, the results that you got. Okay. So anyway.
So this is just an example of I guess, how would you describe this? Complicated, difficult, challenging. This is not the normal case where this individual, the way that they put on fat, when people talk about the spare tire, and like this literally came all the way around her back, and the tire part bulged out beyond her butt, and it started to fold over almost at the butt and lower back area, which gave her an abnormal shape. And she was a young girl too. It was she had a lot of insecurity issues.
Yeah, mid-20s. And it's funny, because I actually did her medical clearance call, and I remember looking at her pictures and talking to her. I say, hey, listen, you're probably going to be better off if we do the front of your abdomen the first time. And she was like adamant. She's like, no, I want my back. That's the problem area that I said, sure. No, don't get me wrong. I understand what you perceive, but we do this all the time. And I'm telling you, when you get here, we'll take a look at it. But you've got a pretty big abdomen. I think we should work on that first. And when she showed up, we looked at it, and I understood at that point. You understood at that point what her real insecurities were. And I'm like, oh, and we're like, okay, cool. Let's take care of this. And if you can see, these pictures, right? So because this tire looks so big in this picture, it kind of dwarfs how big, where her lats are, and it pushes a lot of pressure on the butt, okay, on both sides. And so this looks cellulitic, okay? and keep in mind she's laying down on her belly on this one, but we remove all of that fat, which was a significant amount of fat, and it smooths everything else because it doesn't have anything pushing down on it. And now you can see, the distance between the outside of her lat muscles. It looks a lot bigger in comparison because we decreased the size of how big that tire looked.
I mean, this is an example of you can get an hourglass figure even with a big girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hourglass is just an illusion of a shape. So she's wider up top, smaller in the middle, wider down below. That's the illusion of the hourglass. And it looks good even when you're bigger.
So SJ George asks, do we only do lipo or do we do tummy tucks? And have we ever really worked on anybody that had a BMI of 46? So I have no idea what this girl's BMI. We weren't really calculating it back then when we did this. This was I don't know,
She's like 42, 43.
Yeah, so we've worked on some very large individuals. We work on a lot of individuals that get turned down by every other provider. So, if you think that you fit into this class, submit, give us a call, set up the formal consultation. Let's take a look at it and let's work through it. And let's see if it's something.
The higher BMIs, what I'm finding is, when you get over the 43, 44 BMI range, it really depends what the distribution of your fat. So if your distribution of your fat, you carry everything in your thighs, and you may not have that much in your belly, and it might be easier for us to safely treat you. However, some people carry everything in the midsection, and so the distribution is significantly different. So it's something we just need to evaluate you. So if you're serious about doing this, I would highly suggest scheduling the formal consultation so we can review your situation and get it figured out for you.
Angélica de González, bueno, gracias por mirar nuestro video. Patricia Vázquez está mirando también. Thanks for watching. Danielle Vivian says, looks great. I assume she's probably referring to one of the photos, but yeah,
No tummy tucks.
Yeah, no tummy tucks.
None of these are tummy tucks. I know some of you are looking at the tummy tucks, and none of these are tummy tucks. You see, there's no scars, and these are 7 weeks post-op, and look, at she's standing up straight. When you get a tummy, have you seen those tummy tucks? Like they're like hunched over because they can't stand up straight for months after the procedure. And then when you do stand up straight, it stretches the scar, and that's why you get these really thick scars. And if they don't do it just perfect, you get those dog ears on the side. No fun.
And you can have, if it pulls too tight, it causes ischemia or a lack of blood flow to the scar site. And you can have these big open necrotic wounds that, you have to go back in there and get revised. Ashley Brown says, ladies, invest in yourself. What's up, Ashley? She says her inbox is always open. Yeah. So she is one of these amazing individuals that understands like self-improvement is so important. And she's been on a journey for a while, a couple of years. I think you worked on her years ago, right?
Yeah.
She came back and got a second procedure, maybe a third procedure, second at least from us last year. Super pleasant to interact with, and she will give you the nitty gritty. She'll let you guys know exactly how the process went for her. You're different in your own right, so it's going to be a little different for you, but you're going to have great access to her, and she's going to be able to tell you what to expect, what you should purchase, how you should take care of yourself, and you could even talk to her about the mental aspect of it, and improving your mental health, because that's what it all comes down to, right? Because if we look good physically, our mentation is really positive, and we go out and we have different interactions. When we dress up in a suit and we feel like we look like a clown, our behavior changes. So what we're doing is we're just we're changing the way you perceive yourself.
Ashley, thank you for sending your friend. I did a consultation from one of her friends. I think she's scheduling.
And that is like the highest form of flattery, I think, in our business, right? When people come and they receive treatment, they have amazing results. When they start sending their loved ones, that's like, okay, I trust you with my loved ones. Here you go. Yeah. And I enjoyed what you gave me, so it's super nice.
Even more flattering when it's like their coworker is jealous. Or their friends are jealous, or that they're just so impressed with not only the way that they look, but when we treat these larger individuals and we take off a significant amount of fat, it really makes a big difference in the person's life as far as their energy level, their activity level, their their health, their general health, and how they feel about themselves. And when they feel better about themselves, that energy resonates around all the people. And,
Yeah.
and I think people notice.
So one of those, Raina Reyes, I'm gonna throw her name out just because she was such an amazing patient and had great results, and like her process is going well. She comes in and she's apparently she had a couple of sisters that were nurses, and probably did pretty well during the pandemic because they paid nurses. They couldn't get enough nurses to work the pandemic, and those guys made a lot of money there in California, and they went to plastic surgeons, right? And they got cut, and they were giving her a hard time, saying, no, your results are not going to be very good. You need a tummy tuck. Your belly's way too big. And she told me about that before we sat, and I said, listen, we're going to prove them wrong. And thank you for choosing us to help that, because, or to help you, because you don't need a tummy tuck. And dude, she sent some pictures in, and I think she's a couple of weeks out, maybe a month out, and she looks amazing. Amazing.
Let's see, hair by Angelica and Angie Nicole. It says, can lipo ruin the internal stitches after? So lipo after a tummy tuck? No, we actually do a lot of lipo on patients who have had tummy tuck. The interesting thing is when they do a tummy tuck, they typically don't do enough liposuction. So, and the reasoning behind that is if the liposuction itself degrades the blood supply. So when you break up those small little capillaries that are feeding the fat, it decreases the blood that would be used to heal the wound. So that big cut that they do from the tummy tuck, it has to heal. So if they do too much liposuction, those tend to not heal. So because of that, they do less liposuction, which means that afterwards you got a lot of fat still. So if you gain any weight afterwards, it makes a bigger difference and causes more problems. So we end up doing a lot of patients that have gotten tummy tucks, and coincidentally, it's actually fairly easy. For some reason, the fat comes out really easy after you have a tummy tuck.
Now, if you've had previous lipo, they call those revisions, and those can be tough to do.
Yeah.
We've had great success with them, but some of those can be tough to do because of the scar tissue that's already formed. But yeah, listen, there's not a clientele we haven't worked on.
You never know with those revisions, and it's I always say it's like the wild card, because it can be really, really difficult, or it could be really easy, and
right.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
But man, this goes out to those women who have been mistakenly asked how far along is their pregnancy.
Yeah, so that's when I quit asking people if they were pregnant, right? Because I've made that mistake before, and it's not a fun feeling to see that look on their face, and they're like, as soon as they give you the look, you're like, oh man, they're not pregnant. And then now I'm making them feel insecure about the way their body looks. So I never say that anymore. But yeah, you can totally see this one with Petiwana. Wow, complete difference.
Unbelievable. And no tummy tuck again.
Oh.
And you can see how that fold, like where she wore her pants, the fold went all the way around her waistline. Right. And that stuff's completely gone. The interesting thing I see with this is like her posture looks different, doesn't it? I mean, she's like she's standing up straighter. In the before picture, it looks like she's like arched back and sticking out her belly, and I don't know if that's just an illusion or she's really. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, we do know that a heavier body habitus can cause early onset osteoarthritis in joints, right? It can affect the hip joints, the knee joints. It can affect the alignment of the spine. So yeah, I mean, I think it's very plausible that maybe it looks like she's leaning forward, because she probably is, right? You freed up all of that space, you took away all of that weight, and so maybe she's not leaning forward like the top picture. Maybe she's standing straighter up.
All right. And is it just me, or does it look almost like her breasts are sticking up more, perkier?
A little perkier. She's able to, I don't know, she's lifting her arms up in bowls, so maybe she's able to reach them a little higher because she wasn't able to anti-weight to lift up on. I don't know.
So this young lady is on the our Facebook group. So if you haven't joined the private Facebook group, you definitely want to jump on that. It's an opportunity for you to connect directly with some of our previous patients, someone like this, and you can see their pictures, and you can see all their progress pictures as well. it's a pretty great opportunity for you to connect with people that have had the procedure at MyShape Lipo. So if you're interested, the first thing you got to do is when you're ready to get started with this process is go get to our quick quote system on the website myshapelipo.com. Simple, enter your information, get a quote instantly. And once you're happy with the pricing and you're ready to move forward, the next step is getting your formal consultation. It's a $100 consultation, half hour. You get to speak with Kayla or myself directly, and we develop a plan and get you started on your process.
So this is a cool photo right here. Another one of those body habituses that was just genetically blessed to carry more weight, right? This is a really cool photo on this side of the screen. You can see it has a big old crease, right, that forms down to the lower section of the abdomen, and it looks like her breasts are pretty small in relationship. Yeah, in this picture, which is I think a month later, that crease is gone. That crease is gone. She still has a really big booty, but the crease is gone, and her boobs now stick out further than her belly does.
That's like my favorite thing about all this stuff. That proportion right there. So when you're standing from the side, if your breasts are sticking out further than your belly, that's a lean person's issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then she came back and she got her love handles, hips, and lower back treated, and wow, we really sculpted her.
Yeah.
So she looks amazing.
Here by Angie Nicole, I just wanted to I don't know if I mentioned, because she asked about like the tummy tuck and the internal stitches. We would definitely recommend waiting at least 6 months after a tummy tuck, and sometimes longer. You really need that scar to heal up appropriately before you go back in there, because it is possible for it to open up if it's not healed well enough. Now the internal stitches, is less important, but it's important for the time of the procedure that the tummy tuck scar itself on the external doesn't open up.
Sure.
So 6 months to a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds good. Look at this one. Yeah, she was hiding this canvas underneath. I mean, look how amazing that looks. You can actually see the writing underneath the sports bra pink, right? And then look how much of her underwear you can now see in this picture. It's pretty incredible, it really is.
And you can see she went from 230 to 157, so clearly this wasn't all liposuction, but this is an example of sometimes when you get the ball rolling, it keeps motivation going.
Sure, so that's like what, 60, 70 pounds?
Yeah.
70 pounds? That's like a whole nother person.
Yeah.
I mean, think of what her joints are saying to her, right? Oh, thank you so much.
Blood pressure, diabetes.
Yeah, I mean, she just, she looks super young, so, she's taking care of her body, and it's going to take her a lot longer and to a lot more places, because she's going to be able to get around. She's going to be able to play with her grandkids, if she continues to stay healthy. I mean, it's just, her confidence is probably through the roof. I mean, 230 to 157, that is unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
I mean, talk about living your best life.
Absolutely.
It's the girls that when you're like 230 to 250 at a younger age, you start feeling old by your mid 30s.
Yep.
Because the stress on your body is significantly higher, and it's challenging, and everything starts to hurt by your mid 30s, and then you get to your 40s and you're like, I'm too old for this stuff.
And I guarantee when she now walks into whatever club or bar with her friends, she's no longer that girl that kind of just has to put on a front or have like a certain personality, act a certain personality, so that the guys come and ask her out. She's now that girl that all of the guys bypass the other girlfriends to go to. So she's no longer the wingman. She's the target now.
the target. Sierra, thank you for posting that. Sierra from MyShape, one of our other employees, is staff. What should we call them? Team members? There we go. I like that name better. She's helping out, sharing responsibility, answering questions, and she's posting a link for the quick quote, I think.
So here's another one of those pictures that kind of reiterates, perspective and perception, right? So in this picture, this is a really, really big front of the abdomen, and she probably has really, really big boobs anyway. And then when you get rid of that big abdomen that's competing for your, focus, you can see how big those boobs really are. So that was a twofer. She got a liposuction on the front, and she got a boob job at the same time.
So I just noticed, sometimes people will wear the same thing in the before and after photo. That's kind of cool. But she did like the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Red bra in the after, and red underwear in the before.
That must
Great.
be her color scheme.
It's irony, she flipped it.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. That's what she feels comfortable in.
Yeah.
And then look at how much booty she's actually showing off in this one. So this one's pretty conservative underwear, right?
Look at her.
She's like,
so
oh, look at this.
She got her upper body treated too, so she's kind of showing off her arms as well. She got that back and everything, and I know that she goes to the gym a lot, so she's strong, and that's just to go from an individual who is sedentary most of the time to someone who goes to the gym, works out, and is active. I think it's the confidence comes along with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you guys are ready to experience that, listen, jump on our website and get motivated. You're already here. You're already watching the video. You're hearing our the verbiage that we use. You're seeing our personalities. You're witnessing some of these just amazing changes, right? It's in real time. You have access to them. I mean, what more motivation do you need to change your life?
It all starts with just one decision. Just one decision. That when enough is enough and you're sick and tired of living that life, that struggle, and you're ready to change and live your best life, and it just starts with, it's just one step. You just make that decision that today's the day I'm going to change, and then you start taking one step each day towards your goal.
So this is Raquel. This is the Julia Roberts lookalike. She says she's 4 months post-op from the 360, and she noticed how she even breathes better.
Yeah.
She loves all of the benefits.
So, I had this patient the other day that called, and she had some like weird pain issues, and she said that after the liposuction the pain went away, and she couldn't explain it.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
I don't
know.
know. Listen, I'm not so naive to think that we know everything there is about medicine and the human body. I think that we're going to continue to have developments, and we're going to continue to figure out ways to become healthier, right? And so, yeah, maybe getting rid of all of that front of that abdomen. I don't know. Maybe the hormone, the hormone imbalance, or maybe she just. I don't know, where was her pain at? Was it in her back? I mean, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, it was. I think it was more like like multiple. What do they call that?
So fibromyalgia?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe, and or maybe it was. So my perception, and I know I'm going to get crucified for this one. When we learned about fibromyalgia, I think that there's a huge mental component involved with fibromyalgia. Mm-hmm. And most of the people that I know that have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, okay, and I know that people are not going to like this, but there's a mental component. There's just this negativity, and they're always in pain. And I get it, right? But I think that kind of like goes hand in hand and it perpetuates it. So maybe losing that weight, improving her body habitus, mm-hmm. changed her outlook on her body, and she was a lot more excited about life. And so maybe the pain wasn't as dramatic. I posted something from ZDog MD into the group, and it was really kind of in-depth, and you might have to be a medical mind to understand what it is, but it talked about pain, and it talked about all of that. So if you guys are interested, you can jump on there and you can actually take a look. But the net is, if you're always exposed to pain, the slightest at some point after you've been exposed for a long time, just the slightest amount of pain can take you up to like a 10 out of 10. Whereas if you're never in pain and you're always like in a happy disposition, maybe it doesn't affect you as much. So anyway, this is a cool little video, photo too, right? Huge change. And she's not even wearing a faja.
Yeah. She
was so excited about it. She's like, no faja. This is only like a 20-pound change, right? Maybe 18, whatever. But
man, it doesn't matter about the weight.
It doesn't matter about the weight. It matters about the actual result. Yep.
No, so I had another patient who this one made a lot of sense. So she had the gastric sleeve, and apparently at the sleeve, right at the point, the doctors told her that she had some type of hernia of something that was causing pain, difficulty swallowing, and what do they call it, like a esophageal reflux.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so she had difficulty eating.
Yep.
And she said after liposuction, all those symptoms went away, and that kind of made sense, right? Maybe we had pressure perhaps on the fat in the area, was putting pressure on that area, so taking the fat maybe lessen the pressure perhaps, right?
Maybe. Plausible, right? There's a lot of things in medicine that are still like in theory. Here is, I can't read her name, Liliana Mejia. ¿Cuánto cuesta el tummy tuck? Bueno, Liliana, no hacemos ningún tummy tuck. Todas esas chicas acá son solo lipo. Solo lipo. No hacemos ningún tummy tuck, ¿ok? Los resultados que tenemos acá son sin tummy tuck. Se puede ir a nuestra página de web, se puede entrar a nuestra página de Facebook, un support group, y puedes ver todos los resultados. This is Raquel. I also don't mind people who look at me when I'm running around. Thanks for the curves, my shape.
I don't mind people looking at me.
Dude, that is
That's
basically
awesome.
That's what it's about, right? I mean, she probably like her verbiage was when we were talking is that she was always a heavier set girl, right? And she always, just had that shape. So now this is the first time in her entire life where she's had, a figure eight, or I'm sorry, a 360 look with a Coca-Cola bottle and a waistline, and so now people are looking at her.
The interesting thing that just the verbiage that you said is like now she doesn't mind when people look at her, and that's all the difference is that before you minded and now you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Like the picture of Destiny, right? So her front picture before lipo, she's got this like mean mug face, like I'm vulnerable, I'm standing here, I don't want you to look at me because I'm uncomfortable, and if I give you this like hard look, you're not gonna look for very long. And then like look at this,
She had a whole new persona, got new hair.
Exactly, super like laid back, very approachable. I mean, this is the person that you would want to go talk to. This one, not so much. You're like looking at her and like, oh, she looks like she's not having a good day. She doesn't really want to talk to me. She's going to be short with me. I mean, just look at how that countenance changes.
We're dramatizing it, but
Sure.
She's super nice lady.
She really is.
I liked her
She
before,
is.
I like her afterwards,
She
so
is.
she's super cool.
Anyway, so we do amazing things with a Kenya. Listen, we don't do tummy tucks. What we do is we do liposuction. We take a look at your body habits, and we can tell you where we can improve and what we can do. And if we feel like we're going to give you amazing results, we're going to be very honest with you. If we feel like it's not something that's going to work out very well, we're going to be honest too, because we want you to be happy with what we do. We want you to be happy with the experience. Okay.
Cool picture here. You can see this how, she has this traditional look of when you get very heavy and you get the sad face on the belly button. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
So how it starts a downturn right there, and that's commonly when you get to a higher BMI. Individuals who have been bigger for longer periods of time, gravity's been taking its toll, so you got more skin laxity, and that's usually what it's from, is skin laxity as the belly starts to droop down. And the tissue's holding on at the belly button, but the rest of the tissue's starting to give way, so you get this sad face look. But you can see afterwards that belly button changes, and it's simple physics. When you remove the volume, remove the fat, and things retract back, it goes back to the way it should be. The happy belly button, right?
It's funny, I had a buddy who, he is a pretty good pitcher in high school, ended up pitching at Texas, the year that they took the College World Series, played ball with a couple of pro ball players. Anyway, so we're talking about, where we were at as dads, because, we both have kids about the same age, and, he goes, yeah, when I take my shirt off now, I got the milk dud belly button. A milk dud belly button. I had to think about it. But if you look at the bottom of the milk dud, yeah, sure enough, it's got that like weird like design, right? And that's what he was referring to as far as belly button, because he'd put on weight and he was no longer in his athletic, prime. So, the frowny face is kind of more of a flat face, but even still, I think that's because
this is where she wore her pants.
Yeah, well, yeah, and she carries a lot more fat on this lower section too. But I mean, that is pretty remarkable right there.
So she was one of those girls that she didn't want her belly to hang over the pants, so she wore the pants above the belly hang, and then she created that fold right in the middle of her abdomen, which you can see it starts to go around towards the sides as well, and that's what happens with direct pressure for extended periods of time. I would say this would take about 4 or 5 years to become, more permanent like this. But through liposuction, we can break through all that connective tissue, and in many cases, we can eliminate these issues.
And basically do a hard reset on your stomach.
Yep.
And kind of get through all of that memory that you've created.
It's like erasing the memory of your belly.
So Tisha Lewis says, hello. Thanks for coming in. Armanda Miranda says, how does lipo tighten the skin around the belly button area from having a baby? So that's a great question, right? So you have a baby, right? And it stretches out the skin. Okay, so the skin has elasticity in it. So when you remove the fat, okay, it gives your body a chance, it gives the skin a chance to go ahead and retract if you do it properly. So with these big bellies, what we found is we treat the front of the abdomen, only the front of the abdomen, we wear compression, and that skin will come back, okay? Now, around the belly button, like specifically, I mean, I don't know. Can you show my sister-in-law's picture?
Yes.
She had 4 kids, and 3 of them.
All of these women have had kids. All of them.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
And
This
3
is
of
Rebecca.
them were 10 pounds plus. Okay, so 4 kids with 3 of them 10 pounds plus. I mean, I don't know. She had the real big frowny face, right? Where she had like 2 different bellies, and we took her to this. I mean, I don't know. That's pretty remarkable, right? Are you okay with having something like this? Or do you really think that you want one of those like Instagram Photoshop pictures, right? Where it's nice and plugged tight. I mean, I don't know, this to me, this is real lipo, and this is real results. It's not Photoshop. So
it's tiny little scars.
Yeah.
Tiny little scars.
I mean, I don't know. Every photo I've ever shown this to, like every person I've ever shown this to is like, no way. There's absolutely no way. I mean, it's a lot of fat.
So the body, I try to use this analogy of the skin is almost like we're like a water balloon, and just like a water balloon, when it fills up, it stretches out, and when it's full of water, the skin is nice and tight. Well, our skin is the same way. When you're larger, you're stretching the skin, and when you stretch the skin, it looks nice and tight. When you take the fat out of it, it always retracts back. Just like when you remove the water from the water balloon, it always will get smaller and shrink up. But the question is sometimes that skin was damaged, and that damaged skin sometimes has a weird look to it. So everybody's skin is a little bit different. Now the plastic surgeons will like you to believe that you should cut that skin away, and in some cases you may want to, but it's the thing is you don't have to.
Right.
And there's options. And if you don't want to do that, you don't want the general anesthesia, you don't want the big scar, then you don't have to get it.
So it's funny too, because like every other provider says, yeah, you have to do it. I've shown these pictures to my ER buddies, my ER doc buddies, and they look at it and they say, well, where's the extra skin?
Right.
Where's the cutting? Where's the scar? And I'm like, dude,
just assume.
You don't have to. And even one of them actually got into liposuction, and he still wasn't convinced. He's like, no. She's got have to have a bunch of hanging skin down there in the pants. I go, listen, let's just say she does for argument's sake, okay? She's got an entire huge upper belly. So by your rationale, she should have had 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't. Look at that.
Right.
Look at how well it came back. Yeah. So
the actual shape can change.
Exactly. Like all we can do is we can just show these pictures. We can show what the results are. You guys can connect with whoever you want on our group, and if you believe it's true, I'm telling you, we're both telling you it's true. You don't have to have a tummy tuck. I previously had lipo from another doctor in town. I'm scared to do lipo again because my underbelly, my skin appears uneven. Is there a way to correct that with more lipo?
Yes, absolutely.
There is. Listen, it's tough to talk about individual cases and what we could and couldn't do. The best thing is to schedule a formal consultation, send us some pictures, and we can tell you emphatically what we can and what we can't do. And we'll give you realistic expectations on what we can and can't do. So we want you to have a good experience, but it's the ability to do that.
I think in a general, just speaking generally, if they don't take out enough fat and there's quite a bit of fat left behind, then that leaves us a lot to work with, which is good. And if they took out too much fat and so you have very little fat left, then there's not a whole lot to work with. Now we can still make improvements and smooth things out, but it's there's limitations. So
yeah. This is Gilvet. She's from Florida. She absolutely killed it. I think she came back for like 3 different procedures.
She had loose skin, stretch marks, thin skin, and man, it still turned out amazing.
Yeah, she did awesome. Let's see. Yeah, so listen, Amanda, thanks for engaging us in conversation. Yeah, just send your photos in. We'll absolutely
No tummy tuck.
give you our best recommendations, okay?
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up here. First thing, you got to jump on our website, get that quick quote so you can get your instant pricing right now. And when you're ready to move forward, the next step is our formal consultation. You send in pictures, and we'll develop a distinct plan for you moving forward to change your life. We're looking for people that are ready to transform their life. They're ready to make that big, dramatic change. And liposuction is that catalyst that kicks you into the next gear and gets you going. We can start your momentum and you got to keep things going forward by changing your lifestyle. That's how we get the big transformation. We can get these changes for you, but if you don't maintain it and continue the life transformation, then it's going to be
You're back in the same boat.
No bueno.
Yeah, back in the same boat.
So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.